Hey guys, what's up? It's Tristan or Pacostames101 here again, and I'm bringing you another battle. And looking at his team, I feel like his Tangrowth and his Slowking will give me problems, but I do have Toxic on Politoed, so hopefully I can Toxic both of these walls and make them significantly easier to take down. And I'm using my Rain team that I've used in the past couple of battles I've shown you guys, and this will probably be the last or second to last battle I use this team until the Mosh Pit tournament, just because I want to give you guys something else besides a Rain team. So please look forward to that, and let's start the battle. So anyway, I'm going to lead off with my Politoed just because he doesn't have any kind of rain to, well, he doesn't have any weather to upset my rain, so I want to get that up as quickly as possible. And he's going to lead off with his Tangrowth, so yay drizzle, the best weather ever. Actually, I love Sandstorm more, but I know I can take any hit he wants to do, and I don't know if he's going to go for Sleep Powder, Power Whip, or Leech Seed, so I stay in and I get Toxic off, so that's great. That was one of my initial goals to do anyway. And he just goes straight for the Power Whip, and luckily I live with 98 HP, and I'm looking pretty good here. So he doesn't go for Sleep Powder right off the bat, so I don't know if he wants to go for it this turn, but I want to keep Politoed alive in any case, in case he goes for Power Whip again. So I switch out to my Ferrothorn. And he goes for Toxic, actually, which is weird, but since Ferrothorn Steel, I avoid it easily. And here, I just want to set up my Stealth Rock, and if he Sleep Powders me, well then he gets more Toxic damage. But he decides to switch out, which is fine. I figured Heatran would come in, but he actually goes into Mew. So I just go straight for Stealth Rock, knowing that that'll help me later on. And I don't know what this Mew wants to do, so I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to go straight to my Rotom, because if it starts setting up stats or anything like that, I can just trick in my Choice Scarf so he can't Baton Pass out. And anyway, I can still hit it for a significant amount of damage with Hydro Pump since Rain is up. So that's what I do, and I do about 2/3 to it, which is really good. And he actually U-turns out, which is I'm really relieved to see that, just because whatchamacallit, just because I know that he's not a baton passer really, he's just more of a support set. He goes into Slowking. He knows I'm Scarf, so he knows that I'm going to switch at this point, and I figure I'll switch to Ferrothorn, just because I know it can take anything it wants to do, and if it starts Calm Minding, I can just set up Leech Seed. And just Leech Seed, T-Wave it, and just outstall it that way. And I still have Rotom that can hit it with a stab, super effective Thunder, so that will still be able to dent it a lot. But he goes for Thunder Wave, which is fine. I don't remember if that'll actually strengthen my Gyro Ball or not, but in any case, if anything's going to be paralyzed, I'd rather it be Ferrothorn, just because all it's going to do is Leech Seed and Stealth Rock and all. I go for Leech Seed just because I still don't know what he's going to do. And I always forget that the Slowbro and Slowking can carry Fire Blast, and I actually didn't realize that until, well, now that I'm actually saying it, because now it actually popped in my head. So maybe I shouldn't have been so careless with my Ferrothorn, but he switches out anyway, so not a bad thing. He goes to Mew, just wants to set up his rock, so I go straight for the Gyro Ball just to take him out, in case he, even if he switches out, Stealth Rock will kill him when he comes back in. And here comes Heatran, and I am max special defense, max HP, but I don't know if I can live a Fire Blast even in the rain. So I'm just going to go out to my Politoed, just because I figure that's the best thing to fodder off at this point. I don't think I'll really need him. And he goes for the Fire Blast. And he's actually Life Orb. And I live with 6 HP, because Politoed is just that beast. Even a stab, Fire Blast in the rain can't take out a Politoed at like 100 HP. That's really funny. But luckily, he has Life Orb, so he has to waste 2 Life Orb shots to take me down. So that's a nice 10%. And I go to Rotom here, just because I figure he doesn't really have anything to take a Thunder, except for Tangrowth. And I know he's going to be scared of the Hydro Pump, so I'm going to go straight for Thunder, predicting the Slowking, which he goes into. And even if I predicted wrong, I think Thunder would be able to take out Heatran at that point. So either way, it was a pretty win-win situation. So I do Thunder. It takes him down into the red and paralyzes him, which is nice. And I'm just going to go straight for another Thunder. He knows I'm Scarfed just because I outsped his Mew earlier. So he's going to switch. He does have the Flygon, so that's the safest thing to go to. And I actually forgot about Flygon up until this point. I was like, oh. But I know I have things that can counter it, and most Flygons are always choice, so I just want to switch. I was fearing the fire move just because I've always gone into Ferrothorn, so I figured he might predict that. So I go into Zapdos this time just to switch it up, and my Zapdos is a bulky defensive set, so I know I can take anything that Flygon wants to hit me with. But he goes for a U-turn, which is, in all honesty, it's completely fine. He gets switch initiative, and he actually goes into Haxorus. And I'm scared that this thing's gonna start setting up Dragon Dances, so I want to stay in just because I don't want to give him a free switch. But he actually has Protect, which doesn't make too much sense to me, just because, I mean, you can Scout, sure, but Haxorus is just more of a setup and go type of Pokemon. It doesn't really need Protect, or it doesn't really help it in that kind of way. And I stay in. He goes in for Rock Slide. I know I can take one at least. I mean, he doesn't have any sets or anything. He's not choice banded because he had Protect. And I go for Thunder just because I know Thunder can do a decent amount even if it's resisted to Haxorus, and I just need to get Haxorus down to a point where I can take it out with Scissors Bullet Punch. So I forgot how much Rock Slide did, and I thought I would be able to take one more. Like, maybe if I had an extra 20 HP I would have, but I end up not being able to do math, so. But anyway, I go into Scissor just to scare him off with the Bullet Punch. I know he'll probably switch, but I don't want to overpredict, just because if that thing comes in and my Scissors are gone and he sets up Dragon Dances, I will probably lose. Well, no, I do have Toxicroak's Sucker Punch, but I mean. Anyway, he goes into Tangrowth, which works for me, and I go for Bullet Punch. I get a crit. I mean, a crit's always nice, especially on a wall, but in the long run, I don't think it'll matter that much, just because if Tangrowth comes back in, I can just U-turn, and it should be able to one-shot. I thought about going for U-turn in the past turn, too, but I honestly forgot about Tangrowth, too. I was really forgetful this match, and, I mean, but I still have control over majority of it, so. And he goes for Leech Seed, and I avoided, which was like, just, I guess, more insult to injury, just because of that crit and then the miss. But I go for Substitute this turn, just because if he stays in, I avoid the Leech Seed. And I doubt he can break my Substitute with Power Whip, just because, based off the damage, how much it did to Politoed. So I'm going to take this turn just to set up a Swords Dance and try and get a little Toxicroak sweep going on. That poison damage is racking up nicely, so. Anyway, Swords Dance up, get those nice stat boosts. He goes for a Power Whip, attempting to break my sub, but my instinct was right, and he will not be able to. So, and I believe he dies to poison this turn, so I'm in a really good position. I have a sub up, I have a Swords Dance up, I have a priority move, and I have a move that replenishes my HP, so it's looking pretty good for me. But Toxicroak is that good guy. Anyway, he's going to switch back into a Slowking, and I forget that Slowking has Regenerator. And I didn't know if he wanted to go for Slack Off here, or maybe he just didn't know Toxicroak can carry Sucker Punch, but I go for it anyway, just because I know Drain Punch can't kill at that range, or I wouldn't expect it to, even if Slowking is more specially defensive than it is defensive. But he actually tries to attack me. I guess he just wanted to get my sub out of the way. So, yeah, I just kill off Slowking. He goes to Flygon, locks himself into Outrage, and I'm just going to Drain Punch it and take it out. I believe I take it out. Yes, I do take it out. And that's the end of Flygon. Woo. Anyway, he sends out Haxorus. I don't know if Sucker Punch... No, here's what it was. I figured he'd expect Sucker Punch, so I go for Sub this turn. But he actually goes for Dragon Claw. I know I can take one just because I'm max HP, max attack. I don't really have speed investments, just because I don't feel Toxicroak needs them. Just because he has such an unusual speed tier that he outspeeds most of the bulky walls anyway, and he doesn't have the potential to outspeed any sweeper, so I feel max HP is just better. Anyway, I set up my sub and just go for Sucker Punch. And that's the end of Haxorus, and I believe that... No, it's not the end of the battle. He still has Heatran left. So yeah, Toxicroak in the Rain is that really good guy. I mean, I was in the red, and just after one turn, I'm already almost back into the green. But anyway, he sends out Heatran, and just goes for the Earth Power. That will obviously take out my sub, and I'm going to be able to finish him off with a Drain Punch. So that was a great game, Catherandtheryhorn, I believe. So I found him on the TPX chat. If you guys are looking for a battle, just go there, and there are plenty of people that want to battle. Some do UU matches, some do RU, Lil Cup, anything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.